Hi everyone. Hi boys and girls. I just want to say thank you for joining me, and we're going to be talking about the Native American flute. My name's Kristen Dennis. My, I'm from Amajan of Sarnia. I'm Chippewa, and my Anishinaabe name is Gishiaquat, which means fast-moving cloud. Um, I guess I wanted to share with you the story about the Native American flute. Um, First, I'll show it to you. This is one of the flutes. I actually make these, and this is there's a long. This one is in the key of G. There's a chamber in here called a slow air chamber, and then it goes to the bird, where there's a flute, and the bird actually guides that air to this hole here called the true sound hole. And that's where the actual sound comes from. I don't know if any of you has ever tried taking a piece of grass, a blade of grass, put it in between your thumbs, and then you create a cup in here, and then blow on it, and it makes a sound. And you would go like this, and you could make different sounds, different pitches. Well, basically, that's a flute. You can make one out of your hands and with a piece of grass. So, yeah, those are. That's how a flute works. So the Native American flute is there's a story behind it that in my culture that there was this brave, and he was young and he was very athletic, and he was able to like ride horses, and he would take his bow and arrow and he'd shoot through these hoops while riding his horse, and he was very just had a lot of talent, and he was able to do a lot of things, and you know his heart was for a maiden that was in the encampment, and he really liked her. Just sometimes when we get to a point where we really like girls and we want to say hello and it's really hard. Well, this brave had that problem. He was afraid to go near her, and every time he tried to go near her, he wanted to say something, and he didn't know what to say. So it's like, how am I going to let her know that I really care about her? And so, sure enough, all the other braves in the encampment, they were trying to impress her, eh? And the crazy thing is that she actually liked the brave that couldn't speak to her, and they all were bringing horses and saying, "Will you take my horse? Go out with me?" And she'd say, "No, no, not interested in you." And so, sure enough, the Braves, he sees all his friends making passes at the girl that he really likes, eh? And sure enough, he was feeling pretty down and out, and so he went for a walk, and he walked along the river. He kept walking, and he kept thinking, how am I gonna impress this girl? How am I gonna tell her how much I care about her? And I can't even say anything when I get close to her. It's like, what's wrong with me? And sure enough, he keeps walking. He gets really tired. He didn't realize he'd walked for miles, eh? And he says, I better turn around, but I'm so tired, I think I'll have a sleep. So he lies down by the river, and he falls asleep. And then he has this dream. This dream that these two elk men came to him. And they said, we know what's in your heart there, young man. And, we know how it's to express yourself. And we've created this flute for you. And music is the heartbeat of the earth. It's the thing that connects us all. And so we want you to have this flute, and we'll teach you how to play it. And you can actually play bird sounds, and you can water sounds, wind, and you'll be able to play the flute from your heart. And when you play this flute around her from your heart to her, she'll know it's from you. And he wakes up, and sure enough, there's this flute right beside him. Couldn't believe it, eh? And he picks it up and he starts playing it. And these elk men, they start teaching him how to play in his while he's walking along the river, eh? And sure enough, he's learning how to play, and he gets closer to the encampment. And then, sure enough, he's getting closer to the encampment. He's actually learned how to play it. And the beautiful thing about these flutes, they're very easy to play. They're so easy. So sure enough, he gets to the encampment, and he starts playing it. And unbelievably, everybody hears it. They hear the flute. And they couldn't believe the sound of this flute. They all come rushing down to where's this beautiful music coming from? And they all coming down, and she's at the far end of the encampment. As he gets closer, eh, she can hear it. She goes, "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. What is that?" And she goes closer, and she sees that it's the one that she really likes. And she knows that music is for her. That music is, that he's playing it for her. And he was playing this music from the heart that was meant for her. And you know, she ran up to him and hugged him, and she knew it was for her. And you know, that was his expression of how to say, "I care and appreciate you so much that I can only do this through this flute." And he played this flute for her, and they went up on top of the hill, and when the sun was going down, you know, he was playing that flute, and they were sitting together side by side. And sometimes, you know, when the sun goes down, you can hear that flute in the background. Sometimes you just have to listen. So I'm going to play a little bit for you. I hope you enjoyed that. That's I love playing the flute. I love making the flutes. The flutes are they have such a beautiful sound that, you know, each one that I make, you know, there's different notes. Some are in G, some are in C, some are in D, some are in sharps, and there's so many variations of flutes, eh? And you know, it's such a wonderful thing for me to make these. I just want to show you that when I first start off making a flute, it starts off as a piece of wood. As you can see, this one's made out of pine, and what I take is I take the wood and I cut it in half. And when I cut it in half, I have to route it out with tools, which I'm very grateful for. And that's what it looks like when it's routed out, eh? With a router. Now, the flutes that I make are traditional. They're called three-piece flutes, so that means they're split, 1, 2, and then the bird that I would make, like you saw on here, that's 3 pieces. And so once we do this, then we have to glue it. And we glue it together, and then before I glue it, I also have to carve these in by hand. This is the flue I was telling you about, and this is where the slow air chamber is, and then it goes to the true sound hole. So I have to do that by hand, and then I glue it together, and then once it's glued, I put it on a lathe. A lathe is something that turns this around real fast, and I have these things called gouges, chisel gouges meant for lathes, and it has a little rest, and then I can actually turn this round, and it'll turn it into a round object. And you know what the cool thing is, that when you make some of these flutes, you can paint your own stuff on it, your own designs. Now, unfortunately, this flute, it didn't make it. And I don't know what happened to it. I can't remember, but somehow I had to cut it off, and I wanted to see if I could actually play it just like that. So there's no slow air chamber, but I wanted to do a sample of how to paint your own flute, eh? So you can just, you know, you can get these flutes and you can paint them, and I'm going to try and play this one. This one's a little difficult, so. It's a little harder to play. I think if I reshape this a bit. Shakuhachi flutes, which are Japanese flutes, are this design actually. And you have to use your mouth as the slow air chamber, and you have to make a little lip thing, eh? And try and make the sound, and you gotta blow on that. It's a little windier, eh? But I actually like it, eh? I would like to try some designs this way. So that gives you an insight that, you know, I love the Native American flute. It's such a wonderful, and you know, the cool thing is that anybody can play this. You know, you can play this. I can teach you in 5 minutes how to play this flute. It's that easy. It's, you know, I don't know if any of you have ever tried a recorder. Well, recorders are actually harder to play than this flute. And you know, the thing about this flute, there's only 6 holes. Recorders have like little holes up here, and then one here and one at the back, and it's like, what is going on? So it's like, and you know, this thing is so much easier to play. Now, you heard it with the echo, eh? I have a little amplifier and I had the microphone on. And what I just did now was without the microphone, and it's a little bit more plainer. But I love the amplifier too. So, and you know, you can get that amplification playing a flute in your garage. You know, because the garage is big and it actually it reacts like a hall or a church or an echo. It has echo effect in there. So it's, and that's how I learned how to play the flute. I just love hearing that echo sound, and it just, you fall in love with it. There's just, and it comes, you know, for me to play what I just played, I can't play it again because I just played it from my heart. You know, everything I never play the same song over again because I'm always playing from my heart, and I don't, my every day my heart grows bigger. It's like, so imagine, you know, there's music is such a connection for everyone, and I know you all love music, and music, it connects us all, and you know, if that's what we need is that connection to each other, and music does that for us. And you know, and especially if you can pick up a flute, you know, eBay sells them, and if you go online on the internet, you can look up eBay, or you can look me up. I'm Kristen Dennis. Have your parents call me, and I make Native American flutes. I just did some for the Avon Maitland Board School Board, and I did some for the Catholic School Board, and I made a whole bunch of little flutes that they could actually paint themselves, and we call it paint your own flute. And they're all concert tuned. They're playable. They're very easy to play, and I have videos on how to play it, and I, you know, I'm not trying to sell myself here, but you know, I love these flutes because I think they connect people, and I think they connect you to your own heart, and you play from your own heart. It's just a beautiful instrument. So I hope today has helped you into understanding a bit more about the Native American flute. It's indigenous to my people. It's hundreds, sometimes thousands of years old. And you know what? The funny thing is, every culture around the world has a flute. Did you know that? Everybody has some kind of flute, and you know, there's so many beautiful flutes out there. You know, and you know, I just love the sound of these flutes. So I want to thank you so much again, and I hope you have a chance to, you know, play a flute sometime. You know, even if you go to school, and if you get to high school, you can actually play one of those side-blowing metal flutes, and those are beautiful. Very hard to play. You got to remember that's a whole scale of the piano on there. Whereas mine is only tuned to one key, and you play in that note. My flutes are tuned to mode 1 and 4. And the beautiful way about these tunings is, you know, once you get the basic fingering, no matter how you play it, you're gonna sound amazing. So and that's the simplicity, and that's the beauty of it, is that it sounds just beautiful. So I'm gonna play a little bit more, and I'm gonna say goodbye to you on this, and just have a little, see if I can play something a little bit more jazzier. I don't know. We'll see. Now, I kind of borrowed that from a friend of mine. It's actually, her name is Chelsea June, and she actually plays with a band called Twin Flames. And if you ever get a chance to listen to Twin Flames, she plays professionally with her husband. They're a native. She's Métis, and he's uh, from up north Inglewood. Um, and so they both play together, and they play beautiful music. And it's Twin Flames. You know, if you get a chance, listen to it. And she plays the flute in there. She actually owns one of my flutes, and she plays it on her one of her albums. And I'm so honored and grateful that she commissioned me to actually make a flute for her, and to hear her play it, it's just astounding. So again, I want to thank you again, and thanks for listening and for being a part of this. I hope this helps you, and whatever it is that you are doing this summer, I hope you have a great summer. It's beautiful out there. Enjoy it. Get some fresh air. You know, this COVID thing is going to be over soon, and it's almost there. We're coming to a point where we can share and visit, and you know that's going to be wonderful. And we've realized anything about this pandemic is that family's important, and how we love each other and care about each other is really important. And I think we need to, you know, just to say to our parents, you know, I appreciate you. so so take care, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing with me, and let me share with you about my flutes. And I also, if you have a chance to check out the website, I have www.kristendennis.com. I am an artist. I do indigenous art, and I hope you have a chance to see some of that. So, all right, blessings, everyone. Aho miigwech. Thank you so much. Miigwech, miigwech.